Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome. Would you like to be understood in every discussion you had with your mate and always be right? Or at least never be horribly wrong? Wouldn't that be lovely? So how do we get along? Let's get along. Can we all just get along? And yes, we can. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button if you could, and follow. So, what's the fastest way to be the smartest person in the room? Would you like to know that? I certainly would. Shortcuts are always nice, or at least not getting stuck in the mud is even better. Would you like to learn how to be almost never wrong, to gain understanding really fast? We have to remember that there are many types of people in the world, and when it comes to reactions and discussions, everyone reacts differently. If you're in the room with somebody that you know is really smart, you're going to be a little bit tentative about giving your opinion on something, so you tend to listen, and you don't tend to share your thoughts quite as much because you don't want to be wrong. It's embarrassing. But trick number one is the fastest way to get smart is to be wrong. How many times have you done something, made a mistake or whatever, and somebody corrects you and it's really embarrassing? It takes a long time to forget that, right? And it changes your world instantaneously, quicker than a year, more efficiently than a year of school. You're changed. Like I wrote one time a long time ago when I wrote hi to somebody on a letter, I wrote H-I-G-H, and they wrote back another sentence that basically said the same thing but with the misuse, and I was just like, holy moly, I did it wrong. Well, I never forgot that. I know how to say hi much differently than hi. So learning creates this reaction within us. Being wrong, it electrifies us, and it immediately takes, because we're trained to survive, right? Or we're born with the survival instinct. So when we're wrong and we feel like we're in danger, our mind just like, it regroups everything and says, nope, you were wrong, that was dangerous, you could have gotten hurt, this is the way it is. And you remember that. So trick number one is don't be afraid to express your opinion. Give your opinion. If you're wrong, let them tell you why and how you're wrong, and it'll help you become smarter and smarter and smarter. You learn where to get information, what the perspective is of the other person, what your perspective is, and that leads us into trick number two, which is a simple one, but combined with trick number one will certainly put you a long way to getting rid of many arguments and getting to where you solve all these arguments, where you go along to where the more you're with somebody, the less arguments you have, because you understand each other. You can put your time and energy into something else, right? One thing is for sure, connections are built on good communication, and we can talk about all kinds of communication, whether it's at work, where your boss or your partner or whatever tells you how something needs to be done, and you do it at least with the goal in mind of what they've expressed to you. If you hear something incorrectly or take something incorrectly, the output's not going to be good and it's going to cause trouble. In a relationship, it's equally as important. If your mate or friend is expressing something to your child and you're not quite getting it because you're not really listening, or you think you know better, it's going to cut down on understanding and communication. When somebody says something to you that you don't understand or disagree with, instead of disagreeing with them first, you can do that if you want to, but another thing that you can do that might be helpful, and this is trick number two, it's the what, why. So when somebody says something to you that you disagree with and you go, what did you say? I'm sorry, could you reiterate your question? I don't quite understand. And let them explain the question again. And do that maybe once or twice. Don't be annoying about it. And then, then you can go, I think I understand this question. You give the question back to them. And if it's correct, you're good to go. And then you say, well, and you still disagree with them, or you don't understand the question, or what the question is leading you to, you go, well, why do you feel that way? I understand that, you think it's silly that I bought 8 glasses, and it was a waste of money or whatever. And so why do you think it's bad that I did that? Why do you think it's bad that I bought a new car? They might say, why did you buy a new car? Or why did you go out to dinner last night? And you ask, can you repeat your question? What exactly is the question? Well, I just said you went out to dinner and you spent a bunch of money. That's the question, right? It's not that you went out to dinner, it's that they thought we had an agreement we were trying to save money. And you go, well, why is it important for you to save money at this time? Well, we're going to have a baby, or I want to get a car, or we said we're going to go on a vacation, or we're behind on our bills and we need to pay the credit cards off. So there's a what behind question Like, what does the question really mean? Because sometimes we don't say what we actually mean. And then once you find out what, then you want to figure out why, and then you can be on the same page. I mean, if you take something social like global warming, you know, the world is going to end. Well, I don't think the world's going to end. Is it pollution bad? Pollution's bad. Let's talk about why are you so afraid of it? And then when we get to why, we go, well, we don't want the world to end. We don't want animals to suffer. And I go, well, hell, I agree with that. So what can we do to fix the whys to get to the what? The question in the initial part of the phrase or conversation. So be open-minded, listen carefully when people are talking to you. Ask them, what do you mean by that? Can you rephrase the question? And now, why do you feel that way? And not only are they going to learn, but you're going to learn. Communication will be better in the whole world. Once again, we'll begin to rise in a beautiful bliss of goodness. Yes, indeed. Another thing about relationships is when it comes to truth and arguments and all these things, if one person is trying to gain mastery over the other with their arguments, with their intellect, and with whatever, that's not really the best way to connect unless that's something you do and then you laugh it off at different times later. So the goal being the what, the why, the motivation behind the questions, and getting to where you both are smarter and on the same page, or at least know you're not on the same page and the reasons why, because sometimes we don't agree. And there's an aspect in here in which truth doesn't belong to me. Truth doesn't belong to you. Truth is truth. And as the famous quote is, what is truth? Truth in general is whatever it is that is in harmony with the universe, with nature. There are things that happen when you cut a tree, it falls. When you trip, you fall. When all these things that we do, that we build children when they're first born, they learn to walk, they learn things, they bump into things, and it teaches them the principles that are truth. As we get older, we have influence on each other, and there's all these different reasons why people do what they do, and truth becomes cloudy. And we want to do the best we can to come to the same truth, and it's not easy. Lowering our judgmental threshold, and being more accepting and more questioning in a loving way is one of the ways to get there. So let's do that. It's not our truth, it just is. All right? I hope you guys enjoy this. Have an amazing day. Love you. Bye.